How to find out if a person had a will or a trust. I always tell my clients, and when I speak out in the community, if you do have a will, a trust, and estate planning documents, make sure your loved ones, your family, whomever you have nominated in the documents, know about these documents, and ideally they have access to them. For example, if you have a safe, maybe give them the combination or come up with a safe plan where you write down the combination somewhere. Or if you have a safe deposit box, make sure they know the bank and maybe even where the key is and things like that. Because it is very hard, sometimes impossible, to find a will or the trust. So let's talk about a few things to have in mind if a loved one just passed and you don't know if they had a will, where to even begin. Of course, start looking through the house. If you find a will or if you find any records of an attorney you may want to follow up with. If there is none in the house, then of course ask your friends and family. Hey, did anyone know? Did they have a will? Where would it be? Is someone safekeeping it? The other one would be maybe check with the court records. Sometimes you can deposit a will with the courts for safekeeping. That might be a way. It is very uncommon these days that people do that, at least in Oklahoma. There is no registry, so if it's not with the courts, there's no other way where you can search by name. Lastly, if you couldn't find a will but you have to file for probate, through the probate process a will sometimes may come about, either because the heirs, the family hears about the probate process. You may have to give them notice. It depends on the situation. You may also want to publish in the paper. That way if anyone sees the posting, they can say, oh hey, I have so-and-so's will. Now let's talk about a trust. How do you know if a person had a trust? Or I get calls sometimes and people say, I'm pretty sure dad had a trust, I think mom had a trust, but there are no records of one. So maybe they were working on one, maybe they were talking about it, but they may have it or they may not have it. One way, in addition to everything we talked about a will, one way for a trust would be a trust has to be funding, meaning that the assets of the deceased person have to be attached to the trust somehow. One way to do that is real property, for example, has to be deeded to the trust. So look at the person's real property and see where it is located. Look in the land records and see if there is a deed from the person to their trust. That may or may not give you the information you're looking for. It may give you a name of the trust, but of course it does not have the documents. But sometimes they mention a successor trustee. Reach out to those people and see if they have a copy of the trust. Look and see who created the deed. Maybe the attorney's information is on there somewhere. That might be one way. The same thing with bank accounts. They may be in the name of the trust. They may have the trust as a beneficiary. Same with all the other financial accounts. So if you get a name for the trust, does that mean you get information on where the trust is? No. So look at the documents and do your best. Try to locate some people and see if they have any information on that. But once again, it is really hard, sometimes impossible, to determine if the person had a will or a trust. So if you have one, please have a safe plan in place where your loved ones will find it, because we don't want to make it harder on the family. They're dealing with a lot at that time. The last thing they want to do is go on this hunt. So I hope this video helped. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a button there below. We have lots of other educational videos. Send me an email if you have any questions or give us a call. Thank you for watching.